guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to do a little project that I saw Eve at Scrapbooking with me do. She made these gorgeous little flippy pads, but what she did was incorporated all different colours of papers and things. I mean, not all different colours. She kept them kind of colour coordinated. But you know, there'd be like a pink one and a green one and things like that. And incorporated like bits of doily and things. And then she attached it also onto a sort of pocket, which I just thought was ingenious, really. So, and hers looked so pretty, I have to say. So I will try my best to remember to link that video below. If I don't, because I am so rubbish, honestly, with things like that, please just nudge me and, you know, I will absolutely try and, you know, then link it. So what I have brought along is obviously a whole bunch of some of my food coloured papers that I showed you recently, you know, the results from my food colouring. And then just some coffee dyed papers. So I've got some patterned ones here, which I thought hopefully they're going to tie in with most of the colours of my food coloured papers, if you see what I mean. And then I've just got some plain, you know, plain coffee dyed paper as well. I've obviously got quite a few doilies, and then I've also got this vellum, which actually this was left over, kind of actually buried on my desk from our X-Files series. So I just thought I would bring that along, may or may not use that. So I'm just going to put those onto my lap. And what I thought that I would do for my foundation of my pocket is I've got these really long envelopes here. Now, if I just pull in a page, you can see they're far too long for putting in a journal, you know, as they are. So what I thought I could do is actually incorporate these as my pocket. So obviously, if you don't have these envelopes, you can adapt any envelopes, you know, that you choose. I mean, Eve actually made hers, she said, with scrapbooking paper. So, you know, just go with the flow and kind of use whatever you have to hand. But I thought this would be a good way to use these envelopes that otherwise I was possibly, you know, wondering kind of what to do with them. So what I'm going to do is these are, you know, end opening ones. And I thought that what I would do is tuck the flap inside the envelope, gluing it down. Like that, because that's going to strengthen it, you know, if it's then being used as a pocket. So just tuck that in there like that. Okay, and then, you know, you can just get in there with your spreader if you use, you know, a card or something like I do. And you can obviously turn it over and, you know, do it on that side as well. And then all you're going to have to do is then, you know, chop your envelope to roughly the length that you want it to be. So for instance, if I want it to be this sort of length, what I'll do is cut it across there. Now, to make a sort of, you know, the proper neat job of it, I suppose, I'm going to just cut mine in exactly as we do, like when we make, you know, coin envelopes or anything like that. And then I'm just going to cut it across there like that. Okay, I'm going to, well, I was going to say I'm going to get rid of this. I might hoard this, which, oh, ridiculous. That's why I have mess everywhere. Yeah, but who knows? I might think of something to do with those a bit later. And then I just like to take off the inner flap like that. Oops. You know, which is pretty easy to cut off. And then you can obviously glue your flap closed. And that way, you know, you've still got the sort of roomy pocket inside, rather than, you know, if you just cut it off and then put your glue in between the two sheets, you're sort of affecting then your pocket. Whereas doing it this way, you're not affecting your pocket at all, because you've still got, you know, a really nice roomy pocket in there. So we just then fold that up like that and just glue that down. Okay, so I'm just going to, you know, use these as my foundation piece for the pockets, purely, as I say, because for me, you know, this just seemed like a really good way to use those envelopes, which otherwise I was kind of a little bit stumped as to, you know, what to use them for. So this to me just seemed like the perfect project. So, and I've got this horrible feeling I've now made that very not straight. It's not too bad. Anyway, so to make the flippy pads, I mean, she decorated all this up. So I'm going to pull in, you know, the colour scheme that we're going to have for this one. So if I just bring in a couple of my pieces, which actually I might use the vellum for this and not use this. And then I've got some of the, you know, the very thin copy paper there. And have I got pink doily? No, maybe I didn't bring along the pink doily. Oh, that's annoying because I thought I had grabbed that. Okay, so I'll just bring in the plain copy paper and some, you know, coffee dyed doily. I might have some pink under here actually. Yeah, I knew I had some somewhere, you know, that I had used recently. So this, as you can see, I mean, this is pretty pale compared to this. In fact, now I'm thinking, has this been dyed at all? Right, sorry, I did nip off and get some pink doily because, yeah, so I've swapped the paper out because actually this must have been the one that I used, the sort of more lilac colouring. So I've got a doily and a lilac for a piece in a minute. But this one, I thought we would just do using the pinks and things. And actually it picks up that vellum really quite nicely. So all that Eve did was she staggered her pieces so that she had torn layers that you could see then, you know, the pretty colours of the paper. So all I'm going to do is take my, you know, what's going to effectively be my flippy pad, and actually doing this paper in half works out pretty good size wise. So I'm just going to cut my paper down in half like that, and then obviously this one, and then I'll just run my scissors up. Now her pages I wouldn't say were the same size necessarily width-wise, so I'm not going to get too worried if they're, you know, not identical sizes, because obviously that's all adding to the interest of the, you know, the pad looking pretty. Of course, if it was all identical size at the front, it would just look like a pad, you know, a regular pad, which, you know, there's nothing really very attractive about that, is there? So, you know, in fact, you want to be deliberate in making your pieces quite jaggedy raggedy. Jaggedy raggedy? Yeah, quite jaggedy raggedy, really. So I'm going to start with my first piece, which, let's just say, you know, this is at the top now. I'm going to just tear it across like that. Okay. Now, I mean, actually, you can see it's a bit too wide, so it still needs to come down a little bit more. It's quite surprising how, you know, how much you actually do need to take off. But then I'm going to do my next piece like that, so that when that's kind of like slotted on, you've got, you know, those nice torn edges, but going up in colours, which is really pretty, isn't it? So if I just take my next one, pop it there, and then actually I'm going to, because I might swap these round, because that's actually perhaps a bit short. Oops, so's that one. Okay, and then I bring in my doily. Now I'm wondering now whether she didn't really have doily actually mixed in with her pad. I think she did. So I'm just going to sort of tear it down there like that. And then I think I'll have another piece of the pink. Actually, I'm going to have another piece of the coffee dyed, I think, here. So again, I'm just going to actually do it this way round now. I'll just tear that piece off. I won't throw that because I might make a little flippy pad from that as well. So, you know, this is a waste not, want not project. So we've got that one there, and then again, we'll pop this one down here. Just going to again fold that over like that. Okay. Again, I'll hang on to that because who knows when that might come in handy. And do we want another piece of vellum on the front and then the doily, or would we prefer just the doily? I quite liked the vellum actually. It looks sort of a bit more interesting probably. So we'll just pop that there like that. Just tear that across, and then we'll have the little piece of doily there. Now she obviously had her sewing machine to do this. I haven't got my sewing machine, you know, to hand, so I'm just going to, right, let me snip this off so this is going to, you know, when I tap it down, so it's all going to go down. And obviously if I've got pieces then that aren't particularly showing, I can always, you know, tidy them up and sort of make them a bit more obvious. Okay, so we've got that one. Now the only thing is my doily there, just need to just take that down slightly. Okay, right, so go back in. Right, so I'm going to have to obviously play around with my papers because now I've like lost my doily in there, but I'm just going to staple that together. The stapler's just in my bag behind me. Hold on 2 moments. Yep, okay. So I'm just going to staple this lot together. I mean, this is just my type of project. It's really pretty, but really easy. So, you know, I just love easy things, you know, as you know. So what I might do is actually tear it all down slightly more now, so as I can see everything a bit clearer. So I'm going to just tear this across slightly. Oops, made a horrible job of that tear. I hate that look when it's got kind of a, you know, triangle in the middle. But I'm just trying to really get to this piece to tear that across so you can see a bit more of the doily. So I'll just then go across here. Like that. Okay, how pretty does that look? And then, as I say, she popped hers onto the pocket. Now, as I say, mine is quite wide. Let me just trim it down slightly. Like that. And just bin those bits. Okey doke. There we go. So that can then go onto that pocket like that. But before I do that, she obviously decorated her pocket up and made it look, you know, really pretty. So let's just quickly do a bit of decorating. So I've got obviously some of the pretty pink doily, which we can obviously use there. I was going to have some of the vellum, but actually that just looks a bit rubbish, so I'm not going to have the vellum, I think. See what I've got in my little boxes here. Wonder how that would look. Well, that's not too bad actually. Yep, that's not too bad. So I'm just going to neaten up, you know, because this is from my scrap box, it is very scrappy. So I'm just going to then pop that down on there like that. Sorry about that noise. Obviously that must be my neighbour with their lawnmower or their strimmer, or I don't know what they're actually out there with, but yeah, sorry about that noise. Obviously they weren't really doing that when I started, so it's just typical, isn't it, that you start doing a video and out they go. Right, so I'm just going to pop this doily down, which actually I'm going to ink it up first, I think, because I don't want to really, you know, colour the doily. Sorry, I did have a piece of paper here under my ink pad so it wasn't causing a horrible noise for you guys. Right, I've put it under some paper now, so hopefully that's a bit better. Okay. There we go, and my doily here. So I'm just going to attach my doily with my Fabri-Tac. Like that. Okay, so that looks pretty. And then I'll just have something, you know, over to the side. So let me just see what I've got here, you know, just beside me that I can just work with. So I've got some of these. Perhaps I could just use, actually I might try this one. So these are just printed out onto copy paper. But I just thought this might be a good one for here. So just tear that down and just go across here. Okay. Yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? So I'm going to have that on there, I think. Just again, ink that up. Okay. That down, and then what I might do, oh gosh, that's very lopsided on there. Okay, that looks better. What I might do is then have a little pink pink label, because then that's just, you know, a bit of journaling space, but also tie in the pink in quite nicely. So let me just pull in a couple of labels. So this is our pink pad. So yeah, maybe go for this label here. And I'm just going to, you know me, I like to just have the little bit of it cut in and pop there. So I'm just going to have the label there like that. I'll just then, okay, like that. Squash that down. Okay, how pretty. I mean, I love these pads. So Eve, if you do catch this video at all, I just want to say thank you. What a lovely idea. They're so pretty. I just love the cascading colours. They just look gorgeous, don't they? And actually, I'm just wondering whether we could even have a little label. And it does make it slightly thicker to lift, but I don't mind that actually. So I'm just going to ink this little label up a bit, and then I'm just going to stick that onto the vellum. So just like that. Okay, just for a bit more interest, really. I mean, it didn't need it, but it, you know, it does look good. It does look pretty. So then what I'm going to do is just go straight across my header of the pad, just with my Fabri-Tac, and then we'll just pop it down onto the front of the pocket. How gorgeous is that? Really, really cute. I love it. Okay, so we've got that, and then she popped some lace across hers, so I don't need telling twice when it comes to lace. I've got some, that's a bit too lilac actually. I thought that might have looked quite nice, but I've got a little bit of pink. It's a bit too small, although actually I don't mind it, funnily enough. I've got some little flower trims. I wonder if we should just have it like that. That's quite nice. Okay, well, it's all about using the scraps, isn't it? So yeah, rather than have the lace going right the way, I think I will just have, you know, a bit of lace kind of halfway and then the flower. So yeah, I'm just going to pop the lace down here, just like that. Okay, and then we'll just, oops, just pulled all the lace down now completely. And then we'll just pop the flower on. Just get the right way up. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's so cute, isn't it? Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love those. Right, so let's make another one in a different, you know, bit of a different colourway. So that's that cute pink one. So let me just move these bits out the way a bit. Put them there. Oops. Okay, and get rid of the vellum. So let's start again exactly the same way. So again, I'm just going to take my envelope. And again, you know, I like to just tuck the flap in. The only reason I do that is it just makes the front stronger, because if you're having it as a pocket, you know, you just want it a little bit sort of more robust really, whereas if I just cut it off, it's just literally one paper's thickness, which to me that just feels quite fragile. So yeah, I like to just thicken it up if I possibly can. And then we're just going to fold it up to roughly the height we want it. So let's have it like that. Okie dokie. And then I'm just going to cut across here like that. And then we're just going to trim our corners. Again, you know, this is just my way of doing this, and definitely I am no way saying this is, you know, this is the right way or the best way. I'm just, you know, this is my method that I find quick and easy to do. So, you know, by all means, if you have another method that suits you better, you know, do your method. Please don't feel that I'm, you know, showing you the only way to go. Because definitely not. Right, I just need to make sure that's straight. No, it's not straight at all. Okay, let's just maneuver that around a little bit. Okay, let's just have a look against my little ruler. Oh gosh, that's not really very straight either, but oh dear. Right, okay. So I mean, this is why obviously other people do measure, and why I still don't. Okay, right. Well, hopefully that's, you know, it's straight enough. It's, you know, no one's really going to be kind of coming out like the, you know, the line police, are they? So I'm just going to ink up my pocket in the first instance. And let's go for the turquoisey colour, shall we? Yeah, let's go for that. Oops. Not the green, but this beautiful tealy type colour. It's just so vibrant and gorgeous, isn't it? I love it. Now, what do we think looks best? This, like this kind of tones, or the sort of darker? I'm a bit slightly inclined with the darker actually, because I think, wow, I don't know whether that's coming out in the camera, but to me that's like wow, what a beautiful sort of combination that makes. So yeah, I'm going to go for that. So I'm just going to, exactly as we did last time, fold my paper in half, and again I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to cut it in slightly more, because actually that last one, it was quite wide, wasn't it, on the envelope, so we can clearly get away with, you know, cutting it down a bit more. And then, oh yeah, that's just like wow, so striking against that. Right, so what do we want on the bottom? Which one do we want? Do we want the green? I do love that colour, I have to say. So yeah, so I'm just going to tear that across. I mean, obviously this is where lots of people use their tear rulers. Again, I probably should try using a tear ruler, because maybe then I wouldn't have now just taken that corner off. So perhaps I'll use this one a bit higher up, and I will actually use this one maybe a bit lower down, just because that tears quite a funny shape really. So yeah, that's better. So we'll go for this one. Like that. obviously I'm not going to have that vellum in this because it doesn't really go. Okay, but we are going to have this gorgeous, yummy page. So I want to have this page kind of on the, I think on the top, to be honest, as well. So I'm just going to cut this round, like, you know, cut this down. I'm just going to cut it here. Obviously I'm going to tear this down, but I'm just keeping that so as I know, you know, I'm having that at the top. And then we've got the doily. Oh, that doily now looks really green, doesn't it? I mean, the doily, definitely, this was using the same ink, you know, food colour. But I mean, I guess they, you know, they have produced different results. So, you know, there's no kind of odds in what it's going to sort of turn out like. Well, perhaps I'll have that on the top. So if I have that like that. Now, do we like it sort of... Oh, decisions. So I'm thinking maybe like that. So if I just tear this down. Like that. And then I'm going to have this one sort of here. So I could probably do with maybe some more doily. Poking out somewhere, so maybe here. Just a touch, I think, there. But maybe another piece of this. So again, I'm just going to cut that down here. I mean, obviously I'm going to neaten all this up in a minute. I'm just getting my, you know, my foundation, as it were, of my pad. So I will tidy up the shapes and what have you in a moment. Okay, so like that, like that, like that, like that. Oh, isn't that just gorgeous? Love it. Yep, love that. Right, so I need to really kind of neaten this up a lot. So we've got this one here, this one here, this here, this one here. I mean, I'm sure she didn't do hers quite such a weird sort of method as this, but you know, like we always say, I mean, you know, you must do things how it suits you. You know, don't be put off if someone does something a different way. You know, it's just their way and your way, isn't it? It's it doesn't mean that they're right and you're wrong. It's just different strokes for different folks, as I always think. Right, so I'm just going to now make sure, hopefully they're all more or less on the side. So I'm going to now staple my pad together best I can, and then I will trim it all down. Now I hope that I've actually caught everything in there. Now I'm thinking I haven't caught that doily. I don't think I caught that. I caught it in 2 staples. Well, that's not too bad. So I'm just going to go across here like that, and then down here. Okay. Let me just see how that fits on that pad. Okay, just trim that down slightly more. And then I'm just going to trim it slightly on this side as well. Right, let's get rid of the rubbish. Oh, these are just such fun to make, I must say. I mean, I love using colour, as you know. So as soon as I saw these, I thought, oh, they're just beautiful. You know, really, really pretty. So, yeah, I couldn't wait to come on and make a couple. Okay, so now I'm just going to decorate up my base. So again, I mean, I'm going to go with sort of some pieces from this same paper line, because obviously that then ties it in with what's going to be on the top. So, you know, with what's going to be on the pad is what I'm saying. So I'm just going to tear this down. Like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to come in here like that. Okie dokie. Just going to check I'm still filming and that I'm in frame, hopefully. Okay. So that's my piece on that pocket, which is just gorgeous, isn't it? So these are my papers from my Rutherford Grange printable. I haven't really used them yet, but I do love the colours of them. They're very, very my thing. You know, I love using colour, so yeah, I find them really, really pretty. And then I've got this number, which actually, that's too big. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Oops. Right, I'm just wondering, because I was going to just tear this one out, but actually, let's just have a look at this. Now, this is just on copy paper, so, I mean, again, I have to say it probably would be better on slightly thicker paper, because I was thinking I would put a brad in this, but actually, you know, with the copy paper, it's not really going to be, you know, robust enough really to do that, but I'll see how it looks. I have got some on the thicker paper, I just haven't cut any out yet, so I mean, isn't that so pretty? I actually could have it even there. Oh, that's gorgeous. To be honest, that's really pretty like that. I don't think it really needs the brad, and to be honest, actually, in hindsight, a brad would obviously, you know, when you're then got your pad, it would just be a little bit of lump, you know, under the pad. So it's probably better just, you know, going with it as it is, to be honest. So we'll just stick with it, you know, as it is. So there we go. Okie dokie. Right, okay, we are flying along now. Okay, so I'm just going to then spread that out. And again, I'm just going to ink that up. I mean, as you can see, it's like overhanging my pocket here. I don't mind that. I think that's kind of quite nice. But I mean, obviously, again, you know, things like that, you know, are not to your liking, then you don't have that, you know, that sort of effect. But I quite like that irregular edges. I don't want it to look really neat and sort of mass produced, because of course then it loses some of its kind of charm, I feel. So yeah, for me, I quite like the more raggedy look, luckily. Luckily, because that's the style I seem to achieve. Okay, so we just then pop our number down. I just love, love, love this colour of this number. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, I don't think that's teal. Well, I don't know what colour that would really be described as, but oh, isn't it just such a yummy colour? It's just gorgeous, isn't it? I love it. So that's that. And then what we could do is have a bit of lace at the bottom. I'm going to have my pad on there, which actually covers up the bottom. So to be fair, probably, you know, that's not necessary really. So I'm just going to glue my pad down like that. Okay. Just glue that down like that. Oops. Okie dokie. And then just choose the lace that I want going across the top, because I mean, I've got the ivory, which actually does, I mean, ivory just always looks good, doesn't it? You know, no matter what, it kind of tends to always look good. But I'm just wondering whether I could have had something. Oh, sorry about that noise. That's my craft drawers behind me, you know, where I've put all my lace. It's all behind me now. Well, it's not all behind me, but I try and keep like a bulk load that I can just then grab as I'm doing videos. So it's all behind me, but yeah, I'm so sorry about that horrible noise when I obviously opened the drawer. Yeah, do I want to go with the ivory? see any colour that was kind of like calling me as I opened the drawer. So perhaps I will just go with the ivory. Let me just double check that I haven't got any, you know, floating about under my piles and piles of stash that I have got here on my desk. No, I can't really see any that's, you know, that's going to be better. So I'm just going to go with the ivory. So again, just pop that down like that. Okay, and then just chop that off. Okey-dokey. Like that. Oh, that's so lovely. I love those colours. It's like, wow, what a lovely colour combination. So I'm just going to get my little flowers, because just in case I'd like a flower on here as well. I know we had a flower on the other one, so I don't want to be really boring, but it did look really pretty on the other one, didn't it? Oh, it just does finish it off, doesn't it? Really, really nice. I mean, you could have a flower, I guess, on one of the pages, but yeah, I'm going to have it on the top. So let's just pop that down there. Oh, isn't that beautiful? I love those colours. So, yeah, that's a couple there in those colours. Now, have I got time to make a third one? Let me just check what the time is. 30 minutes. Yeah, let's go for one more. So I'm going to do it exactly the same way. Again, pulling in my, you know, my ginormous long envelope. Oops, it's got ink all sort of caught up on it, or it might even be coffee, to be honest. Who knows? Could be from when I've been coffee staining and then didn't get round to these envelopes. So again, I'm just going to exactly the same, tuck my flap in. Like that. Okie dokie. And then again, just fold it up approximately, you know, where looks good to have it. Now, I have to say, Eve's, they seemed a lot shorter than mine. You know, it's because obviously I can't really make anything small and delicate, so mine end up massive, massive. So again, no rules, just go with, you know, what you find calls and is easiest for you to do. I mean, I quite like them bigger as well, because you can obviously then get lots of the scrappy bits sort of showing. Now, I have to say, Eve did have lots of the scrappy bits showing, even though hers were smaller. But yeah, I would probably struggle to achieve that. So for me, it's just easier to have bigger, you know, have them bigger, and then I can achieve it a bit more easily. So, you know, again, just, you know, just go with what you find easiest. If you can manage smaller pieces and have your pages all showing really pretty, great. You know, if you're a bit like me and have to have much bigger pieces, then, you know, that's fine too. There's no right or wrong, I think. So yeah, just go with the flow, go with what you need to do. So I've got the green paper here, so we'll just again, you know, cut this down. So again, I'm coming in slightly because, you know, they are quite narrow, those envelopes. They're narrower, you know, than you first expect. And I couldn't tell you even what size these envelopes were. I think I got these in a charity shop, like in a bunch of envelopes that they had just in an elastic band selling them off. So they weren't necessarily a size I've particularly ever seen before. They just, you know, that's how they were selling them. But yeah, they're a bit of a different size, I think, you know, compared to what I've seen before. So, right. So again, just go across and just tear your layers. So I'm going to have a green one at the bottom, like that. Yep, like that. Now, just wondering, because I have got some decoupage napkin here. I should have decoupaged it onto some plain paper actually, because then it would have been like useful in the pad. But I mean, obviously when I decoupaged it, I didn't have this project in mind. So yeah, that bypassed me, and yeah, just didn't obviously occur to me to do that. So again, I'm just going to pull in this paper from the Rutherford Grange, and because actually, although this is a completely different sort of look to this, it still goes pretty well. You know, those roses still, they still look really good, don't they, against here. So, you know, I'm more than happy to go with those colours, I think. So, yep. Let me just check the other, because I've got 3 pages of this. I just want to check, because I want to make sure I'm getting the roses, you know, nice and visible. So what I could do is just have this little section here. Okay. Because I don't necessarily want the lady on there. Let me just check how I'm best off doing this. Okay, so probably, yeah, probably I'm best off having here, like this, like to here. So let's just cut that down. Okay. I'll just cut that down here, like that, and then just cut it across here, and then, yeah, I'm going to keep this bit hopefully for my top layer, providing I don't forget between now and doing the top layer. I know it's only a couple of minutes, but honestly, stranger things have happened. I am likely to forget, so yeah. Right, so I've got those 2, and then I have got this skinny piece. Oh, look, that's such a shame because you can't really see those roses, to be honest. Do you know what? I'm going to, let me bring in the other. Right, I've got some more coffee dyed paper. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to have this here. Then I'm going to bring in some green doily paper, which actually that's doubled up. Okay, so I've got the green doily, and I'm going to have that like there. Let's just cut that down. Okay. Right, so, okay, right, here we go. So we're going to have it like this. Those 2, and actually I'm just going to snip this off here right now. Okay, then I'm going to have the doily piece here, like that. So again, I'm just going to then hopefully take that off. Oh gosh, look, there we go, take that off there. And then hopefully I'm going to be able to have this torn across here. Oh look, that's such a shame. Oh, isn't that annoying? Look, it's not really kind of still, it's not long enough. It's not going to now be stapled in. Well, I guess I can cut the whole thing down, to be honest. So let's just trim it down like that. Okay. Right, you see, so you can just adapt these. If it's not going to plan, just change the plan. Okay, so I've got that there. And just snip that down here. Well, not snip it, but tear it across there. And then where's the other piece that I said I was going to have on the top layer, which was this piece here. So again, just tear that down. Okay, so we're going to have that there, and then, oh, again, if we have the doily, that's just covering that up completely, so ridiculous. Okay, let's just bring this down slightly more. Okay, so that looks good, doesn't it? Right, so hopefully that's all good. Hopefully it's all going to be caught in the stapler, and then I will trim it up in a minute. So we'll just go staple 1, 2, 3, and then I'm just going to snip this down here like that. Now this one's obviously quite misshapen, so I'm just going to trim it up on either either side. So a bit down this side. There we go. And then a bit down this side. Oops. Like that. Oh gosh. Like that. Okay. Is that going to fit on, or is it a bit wide still? Oh, it's not too bad. Yeah. Right, let me just get rid of these scraps again from the desk. Oh gosh, come on. Okay, and then we'll decorate obviously the bottom of the pocket to sort of semi match. So again, I'm just going to ink around this quickly now. Like that. Okay. Right. And then perhaps we could use, well, I guess we could have her in there now. Can we fit her on? I'm just going to hold it up to the light and see, you know, if she's on there, is she fitting on there completely? So let me just tear her down out here. Oops. Out there. So just tear her down there. Oh my gosh, now I've torn into her completely. What a disaster. What a disaster. Wow, she's now like missing half of her body. Which isn't great, is it? I mean, that's not a great look, to be honest. Let me just see whether I can cover it up with anything, or whether I have to go with something else. So right, we have a couple of numbers here. I have got a couple of big ones. They're too big. Let's just have a look. What's this? What have I got here? No. Right. Let's try one of these, like, you know, funny shaped ones. So just going to cut this down. Yeah, Eve did a lovely one with, it was a really beautiful sort of vibrant pink. It wasn't like a hot pink, but it wasn't a baby pink. It was, I suppose, like a candy pink. It just looked so pretty. Right, so I can fill that in like that. So that's working out fine. So, I mean, most things, you know, you can cover them up and get around them. So that's fine. So I'm just going to hopefully tear this down without too much mistakes. Okay, and then we're going to have that on there, and I'm just going to level it off here. Okay, so let's glue that down now. Yeah, it was like a candy pink a little bit, and oh, it just looks so pretty. Absolutely gorgeous. She had lots of different scraps in there, actually. She was quite adventurous with her scraps. I'm probably a bit boring with mine, but you know, again, it goes to show that, you know, we all adapt things to our own style, don't we? And, you know, it all looked really good. And hopefully, you know, I'm liking how mine are turning out too. So, you know, everybody's style is absolutely fine, isn't it? Because there's no right or wrong. It's just whatever scraps you have and whatever takes your fancy, basically. So yeah, I'm just going to pop that there, and then that just covers up where I've, you know, had that mishap with the tearing of the paper. So that was handy, came in handy for just covering up. Okay, there we go. And then, do we want anything up here? We could have like a label or something up there. So I'll just pull my labels and things in. I have got some butterflies, actually. I mean, obviously I've got some smaller ones, so but that's quite a nice colour, isn't it, that butterfly? So perhaps I need to, yeah, perhaps I need one of those butterflies. So I've got some more of those in with my butterflies. So let me just move this to one side. I thought I was going to go for a label or something, but actually I think the butterflies are quite nice. So I'll just move my papers out of the way now. All my coloured papers that I bought for the pads. You know, brought along for the pads. Okay, let's just go through. This is where I now can't find those butterflies. You know, having decided that they're the ones that I want to go for. Of course, now I'm not going to be able to actually spot any. I've definitely got some in my, you know, my little file foldery things. I've got some in there if I can't see one in here. I mean, I'm sure that I have got some in here, but of course, when you're doing a video, you just can't really see them. So, right. Okay, plan B. Move my little scraps of paper that I brought along for the pads. Move them out of the way again. Okie dokie. And just find my fussy cut, you know, Glue Book Favourites 2, because that's the set they're from. Here we go. Yeah, I definitely got some in here. Right, here we go. That's better, isn't it? Okay, so let's just pop these away. This is bursting at the seam. Okay, do we want any other flowers? No. Right, let me put those back away. Trying to be tidy and, you know, clear as I go. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't come naturally to me, but it's quite a nice feeling then knowing that those things are where you left them the next time that you come to use them. Right, I'm just going to glue this with my hot glue, nice and quick. There we go, and then we just glue our pad down, and again, I mean, I might just hot glue this one down, to be honest. Nice and quick. Like that. Like that. Okay. And then again for the lace, I mean, again, probably, you know, being really boring, but again, the ivory just, I mean, it just goes with everything, doesn't it? And although that's a little bit wide, that is a bit wide. That's a shame. Okay. Just having a look for some alternative lace because, yeah, I was thinking I would use that, but oh, sorry, that's that drawer again. No, I can't see any in there. Oh, it's really annoying because I had some sort of crochet lace but thinner, and I have mislaid it, I have to say. Well, we might just have to go for that, but that is wider than I'd hoped to use, so it's not quite what I had in mind. Oh, let's have a look. No, this is really wide. This is a really wide, so definitely not that one. Okay, no. Got another bit of that, but no. No. Right, well, I might leave the lace off that, actually, and then try and find some lace, like in slower time, so you're not all just watching me hunt around for the lace. But, you know, effectively it's going to look very similar to these two, because it's going to have the lace across, you know, may or may not put a flower, or may put some bling on this one. But aren't they super cute? And you've obviously got your top loading pocket. Well, providing you haven't glued it shut. Oh no, look what I've done. Look at what I've done. What a wally. Well, never mind, because this one, obviously, this one we could use as a secret bottom loading pocket, just like it was deliberate, wasn't it? These ones, hopefully, I have not done the same thing. Oh, would you believe it? Would you believe it? I've done the same thing. Surely I didn't with that one. No, I didn't with that one. Well, 1 out of 3, I got the right way up. So you have a top loading pocket, and then, hey, these are really versatile because you can always also make them a bottom loading pocket. Ugh, honestly. Right, okay, on that note, it's probably time that I go and have a lunch or something to give myself a bit more brain power. Yep, so I hope that you liked them. As I say, completely not my idea, but I absolutely love them, Eve. If you do catch my video, just, yeah, what a lovely, stunning embellishment. So, yep, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a fab day. Thanks then.